TCP IP. In this video, I'm going to talk about the TCP IP and also the fundamentals of the networking. What is the network? Network is a combination or a collection of computers or devices related to computers that they can connect to each other to sending data, files, and other information to each other. In this class, instead of the computer networks, we are using the term network. Okay, network means computer networks for us in this class. Let me write here computer, okay, network equal to the network for us in this course. Okay, let me to talk about the network. Before talking about the TCP IP, we should know about the network. We should know about who uses the network, and from the perspective of the users, what is the network. Okay, let me to talk about this. This is a fundamental about the network. If you want to be a master in TCP IP, you need to learn about this, some of the terminology, some of the terms about in the networking. And in this video, I am going to talk about these terms, these analogies, and also finally we will talk about the TCP IP. Okay, look at here. Let me to write here. You know that about the network, okay, we have two type of peoples that they are using the network. Okay, the first type of peoples that they are using the networks is the users. Okay, what is the user? User is only working with networks. For example, use the network for sending files, for sharing files, for sending emails, working on social media, and also other functions that you know about them. Users only working with networks. Okay, users doesn't know anything about the detail of the network. Okay, this is the first type of the peoples that they are working with the network. But we have another type of people that they are working with network. We call them network, okay, administrator, network administrator, or network engineer. Okay, let me write here, or network engineer. What is the network engineer? A network engineer, okay, can understand the networks, can configure the network, can troubleshoot the network, okay, and can maintain the network, for example. Okay, because of that, in this course we will finally be a network engineer in about the CCNA level. Okay, this means that we are two type of people. They know networks. Users, we are not a user, but because we are not only user, because we need to understand more than a user about the network, about the detail of the networks. Because of that, users doesn't know anything about the TCP IP, about the concept of the networks, about the functions of the network. They are only using the network. Okay, they are only for example using the network for their works. But we will be network administrator or network engineer. Maybe briefly we can say we are the admins of the network. Very good. We understand that we will be admin of the network in future, but for now, let me to talk about another topic about the computer networks. We have two type of the computer networks. Okay, the first type is the small networks. We call them Soho. A small office, okay, then home office. When you have a network in your home or in your small office, okay, this is the small office, home office, or Soho network. Look at here, look at this picture. This is a Soho, or a small office, home office. In this for example room, you can see one computer, maybe some devices that they are working with network, and you know that this computer connected to the for example network, and because of that to the internet, for example. Because of that, we have a Soho. Maybe in your Soho you have more than one computer, two computer, three computer, four computer, but we can say that in Soho we have only a small number of the computer or network devices. Because of that, this is a for example, Soho. I will talk about Soho in this video and how we are, for example, working in Soho, but this is the first type of the networks. Let me to first give you and introduce you another type of network that maybe you experience this type of network, and that is the enterprise network. I will talk about the enterprise networks. Many of the topics in this course is about the enterprise network. Well, don't worry about the enterprise network now, but let me to say that enterprise networks is a networks for a corporation. For example, when you are working in your for example, in your working area, you have a large building maybe with many rooms, with many computers, with many network devices, and we call that network enterprise networks. Or maybe you have some branches, many branches in other cities, in other countries. Because of that, we have a large network. You know that all of the branches of one company should connect to each other with technologies of the networks, with WAN technologies, with internet, for example. We call that network enterprise networks. Because of that, you know that you can use the networks on a Soho, and also you can use a network on the enterprise networks. This is the second note that now we know. Until now we learned about the peoples that they can use the networks, users, and admins. After that, now we know that we have two types of computer networks. The first type is Soho, and the second type is the enterprise networks. In many cases, in many topics in this course, we will talk about the enterprise networks. But let me to now talking a little about the Soho, or a small office, home office. You know that when you are living in your home, or when you are working in your home, or when you are working in your small office, you need to connect, for example, to the internet, and this is the minimum network that you have. This means that now you know that in every house now we are using the internet. Because of that, in every house we have the small office, home office, because in every house now the network is available. Because of that, let me to talk about the Soho network. For example, how the Soho or a small office, home office can connect to the internet, the minimum type of network that you have in your Soho. You know that we can connect to internet with some technologies. This is for example, related to the service provider that exists in your area. The service provider, or ISP is the abbreviation of the internet service provider. You know that we have a SLA, or service level agreement, with our internet service provider, and the service provider should provide us the internet. You know it. But how we can connect to internet after for example, a contract with service provider to taking the internet, how we can connect to the internet? We have some methods. Let me to talk about these methods in the home. One of the methods that we can use it to connect to the internet is that, assume that this is the for example, internet or internet cloud. We can connect to the internet cloud with the ISP. This is the ISP. How we can connect to the ISP? One of the methods that we can connect to the ISP is the DSL method. In this video, I'm not going to talk about the detail of these methods. Only I'm going to for example, review the methods. What is the DSL? Let me to write here. DSL is the abbreviation of the digital subscriber line. Or maybe you encounter with the term of ADSL, means asymmetric DSL, because the rate of sending traffic and receiving traffic are different. We call it asymmetric DSL. The type of DSL is not important for us in this video, but you know that with this type of connection, we can use a DSL modem or DSL router. Let me write here a DSL router. And you can connect your DSL router, your DSL modem, to the telephone line. This is the tel, you know it, And after that, with Ethernet cable, you will learn about the Ethernet and Ethernet cable in this course. But let me to use it here because I'm sure that all of you experience this type of connection. This is the, for example, Ethernet. Ethernet cable, or the cables that you use these cables for connecting to the DSL. Okay, you can connect the Ethernet cable to the DSL modem, and also here you can connect your PC. This is one of the methods that we can use it for connecting to the internet. Let me to review it. Internet connected to the ISP or internet service provider, and with the DSL modem we can connect to the telephone line, and with the tel line we can connect to the ISP, and here we can receive the internet. And after that, with DSL, here we have Ethernet cable, RJ45 port, and the PC connected to the DSL. This is one of the most famous methods for connecting to the internet in today's. Also, we have another methods. Let me to write here. For example, maybe we have again the same scenario, but now our PC connected to the DSL modem with wireless. Okay, not this is the wired connection, the first connection. This is the wired connection. Why? You know that when we are connecting with a wired, this is the wired connection, but we can connect to the network with wireless connection. How? Okay, DSL modem can connect, or DSL router can connect to one access point or AP. Okay, this is the AP. Okay, here we don't have for example cable. Because of that, this is the wireless connection, and AP, let me to write here, AP is the access point, abbreviation of the access point. Maybe in you have a product that access point and DSL modem, DSL router are residing in one device. Okay, you call it for example DSL router or DSL modem, but inside of that device you have two devices, AP access point and also the digital subscriber line modem. Okay, this is one of the most famous methods that we are using now in our home. Also, you know that here maybe you connect your tablet, for example your mobile, okay, your cell phone or other devices. Also, we have another type of the for example providing the internet. You know that in our homes, maybe in our area, we will have the, for example, TV provider. You know that the TV providers can provide different channels of the TV, okay, with a cable. Maybe you saw it before, and we can use this cable, okay, from the ISP to provide the internet. Look at here, ISPs are using this cable, okay, or maybe a TV provider acting as an ISP also. And after that, you know that ISP connect to the internet, and because of that, the ISP can use this cable, some of the frequencies of this cable, and send us, for example, internet. And here we will receive the internet from the ISP over the cables